Hi there, I'm Jemima Brown and I'm the Regeneration Officer for St George's Church. St George's Church is an amazing building. It's a Grade 1 listed late Georgian church. So it was completed in 1827. It's coming up for its 200th anniversary. It took them 4 years to build the church. And yeah, it was completed in 1827. We've got a 5-year regeneration project which is funded by Canterbury Diocese. And so we're 3 years into the project now, and yeah, bringing to life this amazing building. It's the town centre church and the civic church for Ramsgate. So the idea of the regeneration project is to expand the use of the church beyond Christian worship. It will always remain a place of Christian worship, but what we've been doing is throwing the doors open wider to get lots of things happening in the church and welcoming in the whole community. But what we're focusing on today is the story of the Crypt. So yeah, I think the best thing to do is follow me through, get some light on the subject, and can say some things about St George's Crypt. The crypt goes the full distance underneath the church. So it's mainly open in the central part, but around the edges of the church, we've got the family vaults of people who are buried in here from the early days of this church. So the first vault here is in fact from the family of the first vicar of St George's. So the people that are buried down here are people from the sort of the heyday of Ramsgate, really. It was when Ramsgate, the population was exploding, and that was why they built this church. It's a commissioner's church, and they needed more space for worshippers. So this church was built, and it was, must have been a huge project at the time, because, I mean, even now, it's really one of the most remarkable buildings in Ramsgate. It's one of the tallest, for sure, and it's got a huge capacity. We can, in terms of people that we can fit upstairs in the church, we can get about 1,000 people in. So it's a really huge building. But like I say, these family vaults are around the perimeter. But in the 1850s, the law changed, and it was decided that bodies should no longer be buried in crypts. They started putting them outside. So you can see here from the times that they were putting people in. So these are the coffins from the family of Elizabeth Crouch Cowell in 1842. So not that long before the law changed and it was decided that people shouldn't be down here. So we're just coming along now into more of the central space. I'll just show these vaults here. Colonel Boger, also from 1842. Upstairs in the church, there are corresponding plaques on the walls that in the same locations describing the people that were here and that they're buried here. We walk now into the central part of the crypt. So it would have been expected to fill this whole space, but because the law changed, then they didn't do that. And much later, what happened down here was that during the war, this space was used as an air raid shelter, so for people to shelter from the bombs, but they also had services down here. So it was a way of continuing to be able to worship in the church, but underground, in the space here. So now we've come all the way through the crypt. We're right at the front of the church, underneath the front entrance. What's really interesting about this crypt is it is absolutely huge. It goes the full length of the building, right from the vestry at the back to the main entrance at the front. So we're more or less underneath the front steps right now. And this vault here is interesting. It's so when a mother and child died together, that you have the mother's crypt and the child on top. Several interesting things in this area. If you look at some of the detailing on these coffins, this is quite elaborate decoration. So this was a wealthy family who were able to make these coffins that have a lot of decoration on them. Some interesting things here as well, some markings from 1905, so that is October the 10th, 1905. So yeah, here you can see we're right in the central area of the crypt. It's really quite a big space, and this is where they had the services during World War II. They were able to set up the altar and seating for people. You'll see in the photograph, there's a black and white photograph that shows it, and it's really interesting. I think the social history that's contained within this church is just extraordinary. You know, you had from the time it was built, that late Georgian through into the early Victorian era, and then later both world wars. There's so much history contained within this building. It's just amazing. So yeah, but the photograph I think shows it really well. So thanks for visiting us here at the Crypt today. It's obviously such an amazing building. There's so much history contained within it. One of the things to see up in the church itself that also relates to the World War II history is the Dunkirk window. So it's an amazing stained glass window which dates to 1961. So it was a memorial window for the Dunkirk landings, and it tells the story in stained glass of what happened with the rescue from Dunkirk. So yeah, it's one of the great highlights of the church, and lots of highlights really in St George's. It's just a beautiful building. So yeah, thanks for coming to see us.